Hi, this is Ashley, Kang of Horizon Esports. This video has been brought to you by U.GG. I'm joined by Perkz of G2 Esports, who is in Seoul, South Korea for the bootcamp at the eve of 2019 MSI. Hey, hello.
Hello.
And welcome to Korea.
Thank you.
And I don't believe that this is your first time in Korea, but how you've been finding it so far?
So it's not my first time in Korea, but it's my first time with G2. So that's nice. We get to try some Korean food. I get to see like how they react to all the Korean foods because there's a lot of like spicy food and different food from Europe. So that's pretty interesting.
And I'm guessing you're doing a bit of a scrimming and also a bit of a solo queuing. Perhaps the Korean solo queue is a different experience from EU solo queue. So how have you been finding that?
So I mean, obviously we've been playing a lot of solo queue, and it's been fun to like climb the ladder. We're slowly getting up to like the higher elo games, and it's beginning to be a bit more fun, you know. And it's time to get like more challenges and stuff like this. So it's a lot of fun. We're just trying out new champions, trying out our own best champions, and see like how they perform in Korean solo queue, and just trying to learn as much as possible.
Okay, cool. And this is maybe a good time to reflect on the spring split. Last year, you were playing for Fnatic, and I remember interviewing you while you went Fnatic, and this time you were playing for G2, and when the change was announced, it was a big news for all the international fans. But for someone who were at the center of it, for you personally, how was the switch? What was the difference in environment like, and what was the vibe like? Changed in any way?
So joining G2 at first, obviously I was a bit worried, like in a way, because I talked a lot with Perkz beforehand. I knew Miki as well, talked a lot with him, but I didn't talk that much with Wonder and Yankas, so obviously I didn't know like how they would be in a team. But I was very positively surprised. They're all very outgoing, you know. We fit very well together, and it was very obvious that in the first couple of weeks that we both had a very good synergy in game, but we also had very good synergy out of game. We liked to do the same things. We had a lot of fun together. And we were also all very motivated. We played a lot of solo queue, so we just fit really well together, and it couldn't have fit much better from the beginning.
And in fact, I was actually talk about that because when we look at the G2 roster, it has like, you know, some veterans, some very strong personalities, but from week one, G2 straight away started having like very dominating performance. So how do you think that the team has found such a good synergy? Do you think it's based on the out of the game synergy that you just mentioned, or is there anything else to it?
I mean, I think when we went for the team, obviously we went for a team that fits really well together, and that's why I think we all fit very well together. But I also think, for example, like I went final and G2 went semifinals last year, so we already had a lot of players who knew what to do, and we all had really played at a very high level. And that's why right from the get-go we fit together and we played at a high level, so it was just like kind of natural. But other than that, I think we were just maybe lucky as well.
And like another thing that I wanted to mention when we talk about G2 is they're so creative. Like, you know, I remember turning on the LCS, LEC finals and looking at what, like, you know, it's Caps on Pike, and you guys come up with like this creative, like sometimes you guys are playing like a standard pick, sometimes you guys are playing funnel comp, and every time you bring out those picks, like, you know, you already like have a good mastery over it, as if like, you know, you practice it for weeks. So how does that come about, and how do you come up with new strategy and have such a proficiency in it?
So I mean, I think a big thing is that we play a lot of solo queue, right? So we try out a lot of different things. But then we're also all very open-minded. I mean, sure, sometimes you don't want your teammate to pick a certain champ because you want to win, right? But a lot of times we're willing to try out things, and if it works well, then we want to keep going for it, you know, and we want to actually try it on stage as well. And we're not someone who's like, we all played for a long time, so we're not really afraid of like performing poorly on stage. We're not really afraid of like doing badly or losing a game, because it just happens sometimes, you know, and we're okay with that because we tried it before. So we just go in there, play our game, and if it works, then it's great, and if it doesn't, then we will improve on it, you know. But we're not someone, we won't get tilted, we won't get like frustrated. We're really good at moving on and trying to improve.
It does indeed seem like you guys have really, really good friendship and teamwork within the team. And I'm going to ask a bit of a challenging question only because there seems to be a good relationship within the team. So Perkz, who used to be a mid laner last year, role swapped to AD carry. So as the current mid laner of G2, how do you rate the success of that role swap?
I mean, I think it's been good so far. I think it's, I mean, pretty obvious on the results alone, right? I think Perkz has always been really good on ADs. Even when he was playing mid lane, he really liked just stuff like Lucian mid and stuff like this. And it's already showing up, like when he gets like the Lucian on the Kai'Sa and all these kind of champs that he played in the past, then he's really performing well. But even on some of the new champions he's picking up, like Astral and stuff like this, he hasn't played before, but now he's playing them and performing really well. And so I mean, I think that's been so good so far. And he also has like a huge advantage in that he was a mid laner before, so he plays a lot of like mages and other champions that other AD carries might not play, you know. So I definitely think it's a success so far, and I also think he can improve even more, you know.
Just like you, who also have a very large champion pool and is improving even more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a big strength for us, right? We all play like so many different champs, and that comes back to like we're willing to take the risk. We're willing to play like out of comfort zone, because we're just gonna make whatever is not our comfort zone, we're gonna make it our comfort zone.
And congrats on qualifying to the 2019 MSI. So, Caps, I believe that you also went to the 2018 MSI, and the year has passed. You won a few more championships and also 2 MVPs in a row. So, if you compare Caps going into the 2019 MSI compared to the Caps who went to the 2018 MSI, what do you think has changed, or is there a single thing that like you have learned the most during that year period?
So I think when I joined in 2017 and like spring 2018, we were playing a lot around our bot, and that was like kind of our one way of winning back on Fnatic, because we'd never really played around the top side of the map. The problem was that when we went to MSI, suddenly a lot of teams were challenging us, and we had to find another way of playing. And that's like last MSI was actually when we realized that, oh, we have to play around through mid as well. Like we have to learn how to do that. And I think this last year, obviously back then with Fnatic we were practicing it, and now with G2 we're practicing it, and I feel like we can play through mid as well. And I think going into this MSI we are a very like diverse team. We can play a lot of different ways, and we can play through everyone. So I think people won't just know what we're going to do even before we play the tournament, but we're going to come in with a lot of surprises, and then it's up to our opponents to like react to the surprises that we're going to throw at them.
And speaking of the teams that have qualified for the MSI, well, Faker's back, it seems. So SKT will be representing the LCK for the MSI, and I remember interviewing you last time and you mentioning that you really wanted to play Faker in like a competitive stage, and now you have a chance to do that in the MSI. So what are your expectations around that? Baby Faker finally going against Faker.
So I mean, I'm really hyped, right? I always wanted to play against Faker, and I never got to do it. I just want to see like how we match up against each other. Obviously, he's like the mid laner that everyone knows and thinks of when they think of League of Legends, right? And I want to prove myself against him. I'm just gonna try my best and try to learn as much from him as well. There's a lot of like very talented mid laners this tournament. Both Rookie and Faker are there, right? And obviously, I also want revenge on Rookie, so I'm just gonna try my best and become as good as possible.
Because there was actually going to be my follow-up question about IG, because I'm sorry for about mentioning this, but 2018 World Finals, you know, IG 3-0, yeah, it happened, but now that IG is also qualified for MSI, I was going to ask if you're apprehensive or, you know, excited to see IG again.
So I had this whole thing, because I had the dream about JDG winning, right? So which obviously didn't come true. But when I saw that IG was the final, I was also a bit like conflicted, because I wanted JG to win so that like I could face them, and it was like the dream. But at the same time, I also really want revenge against IG, and now I have to avenge the JG, you know, and I have to like win against IG, and then at least my swap from Fnatic to G2 made sense, right? Because last year both Fnatic and G2 lost to IG, but if at least this year EU can finally beat IG, then it did something, you know, and that would be very, very nice.
Speaking of EU and Western teams in general, so 2018 Worlds was a bit of a deal breaker, because before that LCK and possibly LPL was dominating the scene, and then the semifinals came and we saw two EU teams go to the semifinal, and it almost felt like an end of an era. And for this MSI, because all the teams are competitive, it feels like the prizes are for grabs for anyone. So do you think the course of events last year have helped change the mindset of you as a person or a team or LEC as a region?
So I think every like international tournament I played in has like kind of helped me, because I came into to league and like into the pro scene as like a guy who once said I'm gonna win worlds, right? And then I went to worlds and realized that okay, I'm not gonna win worlds. Like we were getting really outclassed and we were very like a lot worse than them. But then actually last MSI, even though we got smashed and stuff like this, like we lost, I realized that every team was beatable, and we took a game from King's Zone. We lost every game to ING, but at least it felt like they were beatable, and that's why we were actually pretty confident going to Worlds. But still, like not like we were still like a bit worried, but we were pretty confident that we could do something at Worlds. And obviously then we went final, and we lost to IG, but we went to the finals, and now I'm back to the mindset I had before. I joined, I became a pro player, and I just want to win Worlds. I want to win MSI. I believe we can do it. We just have to work hard for it and be ready for everything, because even if we lose the first couple of games, even if we fall behind in some of our games, we just have to keep trying, and then there's always a chance that we will turn it around.
Okay, that is very inspiring, and I wish you the best of luck in the MSI. So one of the final questions, Cap. So now you have 3 LEC titles and 2 MVPs in a very short amount of time under your belts. And we watched this Caps just grow and become probably like the most consistent and high-performing player in the LEC, one of the highest performing. And what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? What keeps you challenging yourself and go even higher? Now you're dreaming of Worlds. Now you're dreaming of winning the World Cup.
So I'm not really sure what actually keeps me motivated. I think I always wanted to, like I knew if I wanted to go league, then I wanted to go far, right? Didn't want to just play professional to just play professional, because I wanted to actually compete. I wanted to be the best. So I think the drive to become the best, and not just like win worlds, but actually make like a legacy of myself, and compete at the highest level, not just one world championship, but multiple, and throughout the years keep competing, and just like a love for the game, I think. Like even now, after playing it since season 1, especially like this patch, actually, I'm having like a lot of fun. I think Silas is like a champ that makes a lot of weird situations because he like steals ults. So I'm actually like sitting there and laughing at my PC a lot of times, because we end up in such weird situations when Silas steals ult and both people throw like the same ults at each other and stuff like this. So I'm having a lot of fun with the game, especially right now. And I think that's like the best motivator, right? That you are having fun and you like what you're doing.
Okay, that is definitely the case, and thank you for the interview. And finally, if you have any, anything to say or like a word of thanks to say to your fans, that will be really appreciated leading into the MSI.
I mean, so I want to thank all of you guys. I know a lot of people were not that happy when I joined G2, but I think we can go really far, and I think we can become really, really good and impress you guys. So we're just going to work really, really hard, and I hope that we will make you guys proud. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this was Ashley Kang for Horizon Esports. I was joined by Caps of G2 Esports. And for more League of Legends and MSI content, check out Horizon Esports and remember to subscribe. Hey guys, this is Ashley Kang here at Seoul, South Korea, but I'll be flying in a week's time to Vietnam to cover the 2019 Mid-Season Invitational, and I just want to say thank you to U.GG for allowing me to have this coverage, because without their support, this MSI coverage wouldn't be brought to you. I'll be covering the group stage as well as the knockouts. I'll be bringing you the player interviews, the vlogs, the backstage footage, so remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's keep in touch.